All right, hola, muy buenos días. Today we are going to be covering numbers. So let me go ahead and start presenting this, and we'll be talking about numbers in Spanish. Let's move this up here. All right. So one quick little thing. As we've been moving further on to this time of hybrid and e-learning, one thing that I want to remind you is taking notes at home from these notes videos is going to be more beneficial than just watching the video. You sitting and actually like physically writing notes with a pencil or a pen is going to help you retain the information more, and it's going to be more beneficial to when we're doing our assignments or quizzes or different things like that. So please, 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 before you continue watching this, get out some paper or a notebook, and let's start taking some notes on paper. All right, let's get started. A couple of different words that go along with numbers, such as the word cuantos, which is how much or how many, and then cuantas, which also means how much or how many if you're asking about something that is feminine. So cuantos goes with masculine, cuantas goes with feminine. A common question you might have heard is cuantos años tienes, which is asking how old are you? And so that's just a couple words to keep in mind as we are going to be doing our numbers. All right. So these are our singles digits. We have 1 to 10. 10 is not single, but we got our singles 1 through 9, and then we have 10 as well. Real quickly, I'm just going to read these out loud to you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take some time, copy those down, and that'll be a good time to pause. As we move up to our teens, these are when things get a little bit trickier for a lot of students, a lot of people in general, as the 1 through 10 tends to be a little more familiar and common. But here we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, you might be wondering, why am I writing all of these down? And the reason is because numbers 11 through 20 are kind of unique in how they're combined. They're formed contraction, and they're all put together as one word. And you're going to notice that after 30, you're going to see a new format, which I'll share with you. And so, but numbers 1 through 29 really are numbers that need to be memorized and paid great attention to. All right, now would be a good time to pause, take some notes. Moving on. Here are the 20s. Once again, here are these numbers 20s, 21 through 29. They are contractions. It's a combination of the number 20, the word y, which means and then the singles digit. And so these are here because through memorization, you need to know these because these don't function as the numbers that you're going to see coming up soon. So these are 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. All right. And I would recommend even, listening to that again and then repeating after me to work on your pronunciation. But I'm going to give you a second. I would pause it now and go ahead and write those down in your notebook. All right. These are a little bit of a backtrack, as we've already seen 10, 20, and 30, but these are your tens digits, okay? So this would help you counting up to 100 by tens, and this is also going to be a part of the formula that's going to come up for numbers 30 through 99, in that you need to know your tens digits well. And so these sound like this. Once again, repeat after me if you would like, as that could be helpful. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. A couple of these to pay attention to. Once again, you can pause this right now, take some notes. But 50, 60, and 70 are some of the numbers that are most commonly confused. So 50, 60, 70. Take extra time to pay attention to those, get the notes down, and just think 60 sounds like the number 6. 70, siete has a T in it. So there's a couple little helpful tips right there. All right, moving on to this formula I've been talking about. When we are doing numbers 31 through 99, there's a little formula to this. And as I was sharing, there's a reason why I gave you numbers 21 through 29 as I did, because they don't follow this formula. They become a contraction. Whereas as you hit these tens digits, the letter Y, which means and, okay, the letter in Spanish, it's E, okay, and then your singles digits, you need to know this formula breakdown. So as we're saying the number 31, all right, in English, it's just 31. In Spanish, it is going to be the number 30, which is your tens digit. Okay, take a look at that. The word y, which means and then the singles digit uno, which it's literally saying 30 and 1. Okay, which is kind of a nice formula. That does simplify it a little bit as you look forward to doing other tens digits between, once again, 31 and 99. And if we want to say 32, it's the tens digit, 30, the word y, which is and then dos. So that'd be 30 and 2. And then I'm going to give you some other examples from other tens digits. So for example, 57 would be 50 y siete, 50 and 7. All right, and then 65 would be 60 y cinco. Now, please go ahead and let's take a little bit of time to take some notes on this. And then also, this formula is still going to be used as numbers get into the hundreds and thousands. So this formula doesn't go away. It gets added to. All right, so this is kind of some base knowledge as we're moving forward. All right, so once again, the tens digits plus the letter Y, which means and then your singles digits. All right, feel free to pause, get those down, and we will move on. Here are your hundreds digits. All right. I gave this little asterisk right here because the number cien is only cien when it is 100 on the dot. As soon as you get to 101, 102, 103, it actually becomes this word ciento. So it's good to know that cien does mean 100. All right. But as soon as you go above that, 101 to 199, it becomes ciento. So here are your hundreds digits up to 1,000. We have cien, doscientos, trescientos, cuatrocientos, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, or just 1,000, which would be 1,000. All right, you should start seeing some patterns where dos, tres, cuatro, 500, you can see the pattern from quince, all right? And so you see little similarities in that 5. 700, you would see that from 70. So once again, looking at some patterns here. So I would take a little bit of time, pause, and then get these copied into your notes. All right. We are going to keep on moving. Here is the formula for numbers 101 to 99. Now, kind of like I shared before, I'm going to go back 2 slides real quick. Don't forget about this formula for numbers 31 through 99 because this still applies as we're moving forward. All right. So when we're in numbers 101 to 999, it goes hundreds digit, okay, or that hundreds category from the slide before, 200, 300, 600, etc. And then it's going to be plus the tens or the singles digits. All right. So if we're doing 101, in English we would say 101, but in Spanish it is just 101 without the word and in there. Notice how in the formula it's just plus the tens or the singles digit. All right. So for 101, it's just 101. As we move to 210, it becomes 210. You don't need to say 210, it's just 210, and that's it. All right, and that's kind of the base. All right, so when we're in the tens or the singles digits, but then here is when you'll see that rule from the numbers 31 through 99 come back into play. So for example, if you have a number like 135, you need to do this rule where it's 100, where it's the hundreds digits, and then you put in your tens or singles. So with this, you're going to also need to remember the rules 31 through 99. So we do ciento first. That's our 100. Now we're going to focus on that number 35, which is going to be 30 y cinco. So your total answer for 135 is 130 y cinco. All right, I'm going to give you one more example of this where it goes 548 becomes 500, which is the 500. And then we just have 40, which is 40, y ocho. So 540 and 8. Take a minute, take some notes down on this, as once again, we're adding on to those rules from 31 through 99. Okay? All right, moving on. And this is just, I'm going to do a little bit with this. We're really going to focus on kind of numbers up through 1,000, and then we're going to look at dates, years. So, for example, in the year 2020, I want you to be able to talk about the year 2020 and back, and a little bit forward too. But if you're trying to say 1,000, we already learned that 1,000 is 1,000. Here, if you want to say 2,000, 2,000. 3,000 is 3,000. 4,000, 4,000, 10,000, 10,000. It's not that crazy as we're looking into the thousands. Okay, but you need your base numbers. You need your singles digits, your tens digits, and then your hundreds to then be able to express your thousands and then obviously millions as well. So if we want to say 200,000, 200,000. We want to say 750,000, 750,000. So using those prior formulas are going to help us do these giant numbers. If you want to say 1 million, 1 millón. You want to say 2 million, 2 millones. And once again, as soon as you get beyond 1 million, it becomes millones. 10 millones, 15 millones, and we can keep adding on to that. And so that can be something that you can do. I can provide some bonus opportunities if you want to get into the millions, if you're seeking, some extra work. All right. So take this little bit of time, take those notes down, go ahead and pause it. And here's just some quick rules with that. If you're trying to say, let's say the year 2020, all the previous rules are followed, but now mil or millón will become your first terms. And so if you want to say 2020, 2020. You want to say 10,250, 10,000. All right, there's in your blue. 200 covers your 2, and then the tens digit 50 covers that ending. All right, this is a little bit more advanced. I want you to know this, and I want you to give it a shot. But what I really hope you're able to do is numbers 1 through 1,000. And then this is just kind of some bonus on top of it. Okay? A little bit of practice right here. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to try writing these out in the long form. Okay, so I've been showing you, it's like on the prior slides right here, I give you the written form, 2020, and I want you to do the same thing for this. So this is your practice assignment. This is your assignment for the day. After having taken the notes, I want you to write these out. I gave you some little hints. 90 and 7 is the way that you need to look at that number 97 when you're doing it in Spanish, remembering that 90, you need to look up your tens digit for 90 in Spanish. The formula then says put the letter Y in there, which means and then you do the singles digits. So it's just trying to give you a little bit of a helper. Hopefully that's not more confusing. But the same thing with 104. It's just look up the number for 100 on the dot. 100. And then you just put 4. You don't need the and in there. Okay? So forth and so on. And then give those other ones a shot. And, I'm going to pause. I would pause it right now to give yourself some time to finish those. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the next slide to see, let you see how you did. Okay. 21, 97, 104, 356, 480, 2009, 20,333, 999,991. That's a fun one. And then this is just, like I said, a little bit more extra practice. If you want to work on that, you can mark those down, and then we've got some answers there for you. We are going to go ahead and stop there for today, as I know that is a lot of notes. If you're in my class, you're going to have this slideshow here for you. I've also provided this just here for the end, but that just says cuántos, which means how many. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase? How many students are in the class? ¿Cuántos escritorios hay en la clase? How many desks are in the class? ¿Cuántas quesadillas quieres comer? How many quesadillas do you want to eat? And then the popular question, ¿cuántos años tienes? All right, everybody. So we will end right there. Thank you so much for your work. Have a great one.